the great Omar Khayyam, perhaps the greatest poet of old Persia, whose rubaiyat, I'm sure, is known at least to some of you. And my favorite verse of this comes from the Robert Le Gallienne translation, and it takes the form of a question. The quatrain is in the form of a question. It says, "And do you think that unto such as you, a maggot-minded, starved, fanatic crew, God gave a secret and denied it me? Well, well, what matters it? Believe that too."
Man, you gotta love the Hitch, right? Yeah, man, whatever. Secularists in the West really love Khayyam, and it's because he challenged a lot of the religious doctrines and pointed to the hypocrisy of the clergy and cast doubt on almost every religious ritual and actually advocated for a type of humanism. That's why most of the time when I've heard humans talk about Khayyam, it's been as a response to when a religious person starts waxing poetic about this and that. But this image of Khayyam as the prophet of the hedonists and agnostics and atheists, it's a total misrepresentation.
What? It is?
Oh, absolutely. His philosophical and scientific writings, which are decisively his own, each begin with praise to Allah and the Prophet Muhammad and end with salutations and prayers. Yeah. The very fabric of his philosophical thought clearly operates within a monotheistic Islamic paradigm, but he wasn't dogmatic, which is why his writings on determinism and free will made a lot of orthodox Islamic scholars see him as a nihilist or even a pessimist. Khayyam believed that 1. We are born and we die by necessity. 2. Life is suffering. 3. All creation is subject to the laws of nature.
The world lacked not a thing before we came, nor will it miss us when we cease to be. At first they brought me perplexed in this way, amazement still enhances day by day. We all alike are tasked to go, but oh, why are we brought and sent? This none can say.
So he believed in God, but was quite skeptical about the ways in which people would offer their interpretations of God's word to comfort themselves. He believed our presence in the world is determined, and that the ruthless forces of nature make us nothing but pawns in the chess game of life. He believed that the human condition, steeped in suffering, brings about a feeling of helplessness and despair. But he also said that one must resist Thanatos, or the death drive, the dark and depressing tendency of the human psyche to give in to the cruel fate that befalls us. Instead, Khayyam states that we need to accept our existential abandonment, for our fate has been sealed from the very beginning.
Why should you vainly count on coming grief? For Noah gathers thorns alone in sheaf. Be calm, the heart's too small to hold the world. By moaning, fate will not rewrite your leaf.
What is done. Be content and don't fight the human condition whose boundaries are determined by forces way greater than ourselves. It seems like a paradox, but it is only by accepting our destiny that we can begin to change what can and should be changed. And to do so requires an abandonment of the quest to know why there is suffering and death.
How very Buddhist.
Yeah, exactly. So Khayyam's position, similar to early Buddhism, where suffering is kind of taken for granted as an integral part of life, and the challenge for both of them is not to figure it out, but come to terms with it. One way to accept our fate is through a process of existential therapy. That is, to come to a rational understanding of the destiny of humankind, its constraints, limits, and fundamental constitutions.
The fates will not correct what once she writes, and more than what is dulled no grain alights. Beware of bleeding hearts with sordid cares, for cares will cast thy heart in wretched plights.
This poem is a clear example of Khayyam's view on free will and determinism. What is known is that death wins. And in the process, we have three choices. Try and live a meaningful life, fall into the abyss of sorrow and pessimism, or develop fancy theological system. Khayyam obviously favors the first.
We come and go, but bring in no return. When thread of life may break, we can't discern. How many saintly hearts have melted here and turned for us to ashes? Who would learn? Time brought me here, what profit did it gain? It takes me hence, but conquers no domain. My master knows, but none can ever guess why time thus brings and carries me again.
Deep.
From this line of thinking, you can see why Khayyam keeps talking about the here and now. To enjoy the moment, to not think about things that go beyond your control, and to be immersed in immanence rather than transcendence.
Wine strengthens my body and life sustains, unveils the hidden secrets therein where it remains. I cease searching for this world and the next. A sip of wine is better than all the hidden domains. Drink wine, worries of unity and multiplicity fade. From excess or decrease and feud of creed, and do not shun this mead, a drop thereof will cure 10,000 banes. 'Tis what you need.